Okay, so I was cut in this number 4 gift, so I will continue here. Yes, if you look back at the suffering and hurt and pain you had 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you ask yourself, what was the gift? How did I learn? How did I grow from this pain, this hurt? And I'm quite sure you will see there was a benefit, important benefit. So I want to point at, in this 4th point, a specific gift, which is the gift of compassion. So if I have not suffered, if I have not felt hurt and pain deeply, if I have not felt the challenge of simply being alive, the pain of loss, of hurt, of heartache, of heartbreak, of losing dear ones, of failing, of sickness, of physical pain, of conflict. If I haven't felt these problems in my bones, in my heart, in my soul, in my heart I said, in my system, then compassion will not develop, because development of compassion comes through the need to face hurt. When there is hurt, compassion arises to meet it so that we can stand the hurt. Compassion is the kind of love that helps us embrace and stay with and stand and tolerate pain, hurt, and suffering. So as we meet those difficult moments, feelings, we learn gradually to have compassion with ourselves. We start to access the quality of compassion. And when other people experience similar kinds of pain, the compassion is available. The capacity to enter these people and empathize. So when compassion is limited, when we haven't really felt through our own pain, our own suffering, then it's hard to be deeply empathic, to really meet people in their hurt, in their pain. And our support becomes more sympathy than empathy, or it becomes more giving advice, becomes more mental, analytical, intellectual. And this support is very weak support compared to the power of compassion. Compassion is love. Compassion is a deep union. Compassion is a deep connectedness. Compassion is a deep presence with somebody in their experience. So this is one of the big gifts in having faced pain, hurt, and suffering. So, number 5. Obstacles is a creative force. When we meet an obstacle, a challenge, a difficulty, our creativity to come up with new possibilities arise for us. So, for instance, if you know a little bit about cars, a little bit about car engines, and your engine breaks down in the middle of the mountains and you're all alone, you will really do your utmost to see if you can find a way to fix your car. Let's say you don't have a phone, there is no network, you can't call anybody, there's hardly any traffic there. You will use all your resources to see if you can find a way to understand your car's engine and fix it. That's one simple example. But the same goes with any challenge, any difficulty. It makes us look for new possibilities, new solutions to deal with the situation. So this is not only for the individual, but also for the group. So when a group faces challenges together, they come together and find creative solutions. Or it becomes a necessity. It stimulates creativity and new solutions, new possibilities. Which brings me to point number 7. The power of challenges, obstacles, difficulties to bring people together, to bring people closer. So an example would be after the terrorist attack in New York with the Twin Towers. It brought for some time all of America, especially New York, together. Strangers were friendly on the street. Soup kitchens pop up, or just support, neighboring support. In Oslo, when there was an attack, there was a collective grieving, thousands of flowers, people coming together. How can we meet this kind of violence with love? So it actually stimulated a collective outburst of love and compassion and togetherness. And the same in a family. If one family member gets a bad disease, for instance, it tends to bring the family together. Conflicts are forgotten, at least for a while. And there's a togetherness happening. If somebody's in a crisis, we get together. When a country is at war, the whole country comes together. And when I'm in pain, and I share this pain with my friends, with my family, from an authentic place of vulnerability, normally the response is closeness. People come closer. So if I'm not coming from a victimhood position, but from authentic vulnerability, any kind of authentic vulnerability related to obstacles and challenges tends to bring communities, couples, families, groups, societies closer together. Okay, I'm going to take a little break here. Okay, I'm not sure which number I'm on now. I think I'm on number 9 or 10. Let's say it's 9. So one other aspect of obstacles is there is a tendency in all of us to have a certain degree of arrogance, to think I'm better than other people, or to feel that I'm right about certain things no matter what. And we have a certain arrogance about certain capacities, certain opinions, certain points of view, certain ways of doing things, that they are better than what other people are doing. So we build up, sometimes subtle, sometimes not subtle at all, arrogances and obstacles, challenges, problems, hurts, sufferings. They bring us back to reality. That maybe we are not better, maybe we are human like everybody else. So it's the gift of humility, of being normal, of being like everybody else, of not being so fantastic. Nobody's so fantastic, and that is fantastic, because we share a common humanity, and everybody has their challenges, and we do our best, and we help each other. And this is the perspective and position and awareness, insight of humility. And a lot can be said about humility, but that's just a mentioning of that. Then, number 10 or 11, let's say 10. Obstacles, challenges are a wake-up call, especially when we have repeated obstacles. Sometimes we face the same obstacle again and again and again. Let's say a certain kind of conflict in relationships. So I change relationships, but the same conflict appears. And I change the relationship, and a similar kind of conflict appears. Hope the wind is not too noisy here. So, this is a kind of problem that shows us that, or can show us, can teach us, that we are attached to dysfunctional coping strategies. So, obstacles can show us, teach us about our dysfunctional coping mechanisms and help us see that we simply need to change strategy. For instance, when we get really upset, we resort to blame as a way of trying to change the situation. So this is a dysfunctional coping mechanism in intimate relationships. To regularly blame your partner is not a functional strategy for intimacy or win-win relationship. And if we do that a lot, we will find that we have a similar kind of problems in every relationship. Same with demand. Those are maybe the two most dysfunctional coping mechanisms in all kinds of relationships, in life in general. Resorting to these coping mechanisms have a negative consequence, which means a problem, an obstacle. And if we listen to those problems and ask ourselves, what is the strategy I'm using? Why isn't it working? What do I need to change? Then they can be gifts.